Hello there, this is Tamil, and I wanted to record a little video going over all of my artwork for the year, how far I've been working this year. So this is one of the first folders I have, and this was actually my beginner art course that I took. It was a lot of heavy, like, digital drawing and inking, and it was a lot of it was just focusing on the basics. I think I finished that one halfway. No, I think I finished like 80%, and then sadly I just got busy with work and I couldn't finish the class. So that's one of the things that adulthood is just kind of like, oh, you paid for a class, too bad, you're not gonna finish it. I need to be better with that. But yeah, I've done a lot for this art class. It was just so much learning, and I would put like little little memes in there for my rooms and stuff when I could. This is one of the anatomy ones. I think I finished the anatomy one, so I took like two. One of them was anatomy, the other one was environment. This is my first kind of like blender thingy that I made. It's not first time using Blender, but it was one of the first kind of getting back into it, because haven't done Blender in like 2 years, I think. So dating myself a little bit. But this is one of the assignments, also drawing an item, but one way you can make it like super like straight lines, and then the other one more squishy. So, and a lot of it was like very limiting. They didn't allow you to do different brushes. They're like only specific way of shading. So personally, I wasn't a fan of specific shading techniques, like a lot of cross hatching. I feel like it digitally is just so much time for no reason. But it was a lot of work, and I think I learned a lot. So this was my final beach shore restaurant in the sea, and this was my final kind of picture that I made as a base sketch. You can see there's like so much cross hatching. It's just so much. It's a waste of time in my opinion. Like I know cross hatching is like very cool when you do it right, but if I can get the same effect, like similar effect with the one brush stroke that takes me like 2 seconds, it's not gonna look as pretty as cross hatching, but the shading is kind of similar. So like, I don't know. I'd rather spend my time figuring other stuff out, like color and shapes, instead of doing shade by shade. This is my opinion. Just not my thing. But the class required me to, and I was like kind of like, okay. So this is my Blender version of that. So Blender, not Blender, Blender, not Blender. So I was like super happy about how it turned out, and I think one of the reasons why I didn't finish is just like getting, because they ask you to work on it every single day, and you turn it in, and it was just getting more busy and busy and busy, and people just like, when I send it to people, people would be confused what they were looking at, sadly. So this is not final. I think I will find the final in a bit, but this was the first day for drawing. I think is like draw a tree, a character, and the house, to show you like where your skills are at, but kind of tricky because they're told you have like a time limit for 30 minutes, and then they compare that to your final like exam, so it's kind of like the school looks better. So that's one of the things. um my friend asked me to do a album cover, so that was cool. This is one of the processes that I was doing. It's kind of like a galaxy thing. Yeah, this is the final, I think. Yeah. This is the final. It looked nice. Like she gave me like a lot of freedom. I got paid, and I really enjoyed working on this. I was very inspired by like galaxy stuff and Loish. So that's like the mood board. Oh, this is like the sketches of the initial sketches of like the initial idea, but this was the final. I wish I could draw hair better, like, but The hands are a little bit too big, but overall, I think it looks kind of wonky in a good way. A little bit too much brush strokes, but let me see. Anatomy Express is one of the other classes that I took that I actually finished. As you can see, this is the exercises that I did. It was like a lot of... I really liked it because they give you very specific, hey, just focus on this. Like for this one, just draw the arm muscles and nothing else. You'd focus on that, hands, then the back muscles, and you would do more and more and more of that and just like focus on that. So I was really like, when you're screwing up, so that was like the best part, is that when you're making mistakes. Let's see, this is exaggerating muscles. This was cool. I made like the super proper exact muscle, and then I started making thinner and more stylized and more simplified. And one of the streamers actually was kind enough to help me with some critique on this one. So I was telling me like, oh, this is too much. So yeah, a lot of critiquing just helps a lot, and shading, keeping it simple. This is like 5-second doodle I made. This is one of those stylized bodies. Let's see. Yeah, and then it goes into like another... You can see a little bit. Let me try to open this, maybe. Yeah, you can see like the leg muscles, only leg muscles. And that's it. You would just focus on that. So that was a lot of work. Then there was another one, just hands. So that was very cool. I think this one's... I was actually doing okay on this one. I know hands are hard, but I think I did all right on these. Because I was already okay with drawing hands. Like, I know I'm not perfect, but generally speaking, I can get the gist of it, like, kind of. And I think that was, like, not the hardest part of my anatomy course. But that was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to look at this. This is such... There was like basically drawing just skeletons, and all of them have to show emotion. That is, they're giving you emotion of what it's supposed to like feel like. And there was so much work, honestly. They have to do like 100 of them. Let me see. The same thing, just together for the arm muscles. Let's see. Oh, and then you have to pick 3 of these and then draw like a robot thingy that is doing all those emotions. And my battery, my laptop is dying. Yeah, I love that. A lot of these were hard to make, and then you have to send it to feedback and then fix like 20 of them. So that was one of those things that I had to do for the class for anatomy. Same thing. I think this is my final for the stylized proportions. Let me see if I can open this. There we go. Yeah, so super strong, super thin, super realistic. But it was kind of, I was digging it. I was learning a lot. It's kind of cool. This was a challenge by a streamer who wanted to do a suit challenge. So draw your OC in a suit. I didn't have an OC, so I had to make one, and I decided like to go with like a goth, weird alt girl, and I decided to study a lot of like Tumblr art style because I'm really bad at it, like to do like weird, wonky, like cartoony stuff. So all of that is studying. This is my first kind of thing, edgy, and then this is my second version. So I had 2 versions that I was turning in. one is edgier than the other. I like the face on the first one more, but the costume on the second one is cooler. So a lot of purples, a lot of kind of fluffy hair and stuff, and then a lot of feedback that I was getting from. Oh, that's why I made two versions. So that same streamer, Kuya Jopi, which really really awesome streamer. They're working on like splash art and stuff. Was telling me that I should fix like a bunch of stuff, and so that's why I decided to make like a second version. Oh, this is like the Clips to the Paint process that I was doing. Another one was from Kaiza, which is another streamer who was doing DTOYs, and I really wanted to do it. So this is the first version, and then I sent it to feedback, and then I got this that got better. I think it was just overall just proportion stuff, and the head was like too big. It made the character like too cartoony, and so that's why I went on and just made it like way like neck taller, torso taller, and it doesn't feel like it feels like more like an adult version of that character. This looks like a gremlin, like D&D character or something. Dwarfs. But this feels like a normal character. So let's see. Oh, this is so this is the second course that did not finish, and I didn't even get to export properly all of that stuff. But this is one of those things that I was just didn't have time. But it was so much work. But I was working hard on this course. Didn't finish, but learned a lot. So this is small composition more refined. Then they told us to pick 6 different color palettes, so that was a lot of work to figure out. Like I just went with like a different image. So if you zoom in, let me see. Oh no, it's the Photoshop. I'm gonna zoom in anyway. You can see I'm getting inspired. So this is a Hearthstone card. Let me see. This is a work from ArtStation. Hearthstone just in general has like really good colors, and this is just from ArtStation. So I would pick let me see, let's go back. So I would pick like a picture, and I'll just color pick like a bunch of them, and see where I can like steal colors and then mix them up, and then I would adjust them accordingly for this. So that was my hardest part probably, is just trying to figure out how to combine colors, because you can color pick from images, but then it just doesn't look good next to it, and a lot of stuff is material based. So like that arrow being red is okay, but a little bit weird. But arrow from a bow that looks purple, then you have to explain like why is it purple, like is it colored wood, is it just purple wood that is magical, like. So that was my hardest part, especially contrast wise, black and white. That was just brutal. And then I was finishing this up, and I decided to go with like safe composition. They were kind of like, just pick this, don't make it complicated. And then I think this is my first draft of colors and trying to figure out like contrast. This is the house from the final that I didn't finish. These are all the color palettes, and again you can see that once it gets smaller you don't understand what's happening, so that was like a big problem for me. This was cool exercise. So they give you like a dragon, and then you would draw on top to figure out the geometry for it, to see like where the shapes are at. That's really 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 hard. This is a shading exercise, so harsh shading, then you blend it in a bit, then you blend it in more, harsh shading, different color. I really liked that like purple pink kind of mix, but they didn't let me use it. They were like kind of like, chill down. use something simpler. But this is that restaurant thing final, but for harsh shadow. Then you blend it in a bit, and then you keep working. This is just separate pass for shading, blending in the colors, blending in. Yeah, there you go. So this is just the shade. This is the character. Let me get some water if I have some. There we go. So yeah, that was just me showing work, trying to explain what I'm doing. This is where it gets like more complicated of adding reflections and stuff. And I think overall, I think this is where the school and me are having differences in how things should look. Like, this is cool, but not for me. But they still require you to do it that way to kind of give you idea of what could it. I don't know. Basically, you have to like render stuff, and I don't like rendering stuff to this point. And then they're just pushing you more and more. And yeah, this is me fixing stuff like step by step. Yeah, there we go. One step, second step. And like adding reflections, adding deep shadows. And they would be telling you like, oh, you're doing this wrong, like add this. So I don't really enjoy that method personally, because you just keep adding and adding and adding, and at some point it's just like it looks too busy. I like this part though. Like once you start adding texture to the wood, I love that. And you simplify. Yeah, you can see like I started adding textures. This is an image that is haunting me forever because, long story short, I had the file and then I was about to save it, and then there's a button that it's saved for myself to like increase everything, save and flatten. And so I did that on accident after hours of work, and then it closed on me, and so that's all I had. That's all I freaking had. This was my file, and so I had to like somehow figure out how to like bring it back. How do I combine these two to make sure that this is not what I have in mind? But it's super sad. But then yeah, you can see like I start adding stuff and trying to figure out how do I do things. Doing trees, that was fun. Doing black and white trees. 2-color trees. Heavy shadow trees. Started adding details. This is where I kind of start to like fall through. I don't understand what I'm doing. But yeah, you can see it gets like better, then it gets worse, then it gets better. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. Gets like so complex. I don't understand what I'm looking at. They get more complex, more complex. And sadly, I think this is where I stopped, because I was just I got super busy, and I was behind on my schedule, and I was just like, I can't finish this class, sadly, but it looks alright. I mean, I think I overdid it with the reflections, but I learned a lot. There was a lot of feedback and stuff, so that was the class that I took. Thankfully enough, it was not an expensive class, and not because it's a bad class or anything, but basically it was a class in a different country where I'm from, and because the currency is different, I was able to pay for like an industry standard class, but it was like 3 times cheaper. It was like $800, and it was like 6 months or like 8 months package, and it was just like, this is incredible, like I'm buying this. So yeah, so now let's check out just general stuff. So this was a 20-minute speed paint, I think. I signed up for this one guy on YouTube who had like $2, $5 community, and every 2 days you would have speed paint sessions. So that was kind of like one of those, and he gives feedback that is general for everybody. So that was like a lot of learning. Sadly, I got kicked out, not because I did something wrong, but uh, basically I was paying for it through like a third party service, and then one day I find out like a $5 charge on my account, and I was like, "What is this? This looks so weird," because the company is completely different name, and I was like, "F this," so I just like cancel that. And then I get kicked out of the Discord server, and it's like that's what it was for. So in the name is like so different. It's like Light Physics Corporation or something like that, charging you $5 every month, and I was like, what the heck is this? So I was super confused, and I didn't realize that was the class that I'm paying for. So that was really dumb, but I didn't have time for it anyway, so it's okay. My biggest and most proudest creation of all time, Boos and Puss. So it's a boot wearing cats as shoes, and you can see it says meow right here. So I think that's the best thing I've ever made in my life, honestly. And I think that was like one of those things is when AI was kind of getting more popular. I was like, let me see if I type like shoe character wearing cats as shoes, and they just couldn't figure out what I meant, and so I decided like I will beat AI by creating this character. So that's what I made, and it was just so dumb. I'm still in love with this. Like I'll never be not proud of this boot that is wearing cats as shoes. And honestly, I will pay top dollar for some like top artist to like finish this. I think it's incredible. This is a harpy from another streamer. They have a character creation challenge, so they make a character together, but then everyone makes that character a different version. So that was like really really cool. It was like a lot of fun. This is me making the tutorial for the tree. This was me drawing actually traditionally for keep drawing equals better. But I've tried drawing this portrait like 3 times. This is why I was like very very frustrated. But a friend of mine from my art class just decided to commission me a portrait. I was like, okay. And then they're like, just make sure that it's in pencil. I was like, okay. So this is me trying pencil because I've done digital for so long. So this is the result. This is just a portrait study. I think I recorded it on YouTube, and then I tried uploading, and then I recorded it in a completely screwed up color palette. I exported the color wrong, so then I was like, man, this looks so bad. So I just had to like completely revoke it. Another challenge from Twitch. I think most of stuff I was putting effort into was from Twitch, but it's like a snake daddy character. I think the snakes look super cute. Another Twitch character, I think it was Dark Souls inspired. It's a corgi with a giant sword. Super cute. This was DeviantArt, I think. Yeah, DeviantArt fan art for the mascot. This is my pathetic attempt at drawing Ice Spice. That was so bad. It looks like a gremlin, but honestly, this is okay. I was trying to record a video for it, so I uploaded it. It's done. I can attest to that. Twitch, another Twitch character. This time they wanted a Street Fighter inspired design, and I couldn't resist but make a cat girl. Giant fists, thick legs, Chun-Li, all that stuff. It's like, you can't go wrong with that. Fighter with like, taijutsu something, stance. I think it looks cool as hell. This, I think I was just I found funny shoes And then I decided to make a weed character. I think it was a funny joke in the Discord chat. And I was like, let me push this more. So I made a weed character for that joke. Grogu from Star Wars. It's cute. My funny attempt at making a cover for an album that my friend didn't like. He ended up not using this, mostly because it's like a little bit too sad and creepy, and his music was like a little bit different. And I was like, man, I kind of like this. Like, this is kind of the vibe, but I can see what he meant by that, obviously. Like, he can do whatever he wants. Like, it was just for funsies. I wasn't getting paid or anything. It was just kind of for fun. Studying a banana. Portrait of my friend from a club. Like, really, really cool. Ooh, I love the colors a lot. Me trying to draw a rose. This actually was like one of my favorites to work on because it was just a drawing of it's a photo of a house, and I decided to add more to it and add a cat and a butterfly, and simplify a lot of like colors, and it was basically slowly turning into my own art instead of looking at the picture too much. And I think that's like the most fun stuff is when you can have reference and a lot of people just kind of copy the reference too much, because obviously it's, you know, it's normal, because drawing doing a reference and a little bit different from reference takes so much time and effort. Sometimes you just want to relax, but this time I was so proud because I was barely looking like the reference. There's another cover album from a friend. He really liked this one. It was like a poem. And then it was his picture, but he was like, what can I do with this? And I made a stamp of his name and like band name and the name of the song, and I added like grain and I added colors and I added like a poem behind. So there's like a whole vibe to it, and he was like, hell yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. My favorite character of all time, Hot Dog Man. Half hot dog, half man. Or half hot, half dog. So I think that this is from the Life is Strange, which is like one of my favorite games, but not a lot of people know that game. And I feel like that character is like super niche within the game. So it's like original enough that people don't give a shit, kinda, maybe. But I really love. I decided to do like a Spider-Man pose, and I think this is just like such a vibe. And I think this got a lot of likes on Reddit. It just kind of blew up a little bit, not too much, but like way more significant compared to what I usually do. So I was like super proud. This is just portrait tutorials for Clip Studio Paint, just testing out a new brush. A lot of different portrait stuff. I was kind of winging it, that tutorial. It was so hard for me to figure out because I'm not very good at portraits myself, but it was definitely like a learning experience. Yeah, my portraits are just kind of like, they're okay. They're My bodies are more stylized and cool. Like, this is cool. I think I love the unfinished hand where it's like you can see one finger, but the rest is like sketchy. Plus, iPad is just perfect for this kind of stuff. I'll try to maybe make a video later about just talking about my goals for the next year and trying to figure out what I'm all about and push for this YouTube channel. But otherwise, I really hope that you enjoyed checking out my art, because I forgot how much stuff I made and how much I didn't make this year, and I'm really happy that this stuff is still here. It's on my computer, and now you can see it too. And thank you for watching. Leave comment below if you want to share what you did this year. Did you do a lot of art? Did you not? Did you feel like you were ahead of your game? And don't feel bad if you didn't make that much, because I feel like that's just one of those things, is sometimes you just need a break. I definitely did, because since probably September or August, I just stopped making stuff as much, and I was just focusing on traditional. That's just another thing, is that a lot of my art for 2023 was traditional, and it's all in my sketchbook that I'll probably check out in a bit. But yeah, thank you for watching, and Happy New Year.